Are open houses effective?
For who? For the agent doing the open house or for the seller?
Let's start with the seller. Is it a good tool to use?
It works sometimes, 1 out of 10,000 times maybe, but I think it's pretty uncommon where a buyer comes to the open house for the first time and writes an offer and then gets that house. Like, that's their house.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, like you have to think too about like the arc of buying. When we are seeing people at open houses, a lot of them haven't seriously started looking yet. They're getting curious. They're ready to take it offline and stop looking at only realtor.ca and start, testing the waters, go to open houses. But a lot of the time they're not at that buying place yet. So I do find the buyers are a little bit less serious.
Yeah.
But
I feel like a serious buyer will book a showing with their realtor.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Or sometimes you find that it's like people who have seen it with a realtor and are maybe coming through again.
Yeah, bring in
just-
grandma. Like, that happens a lot.
so-
Or the whole family.
Yeah.
It's 20 pairs of shoes at the front door, yeah.
Yeah, I see it more now like as a tool in a selling, like,
We will do this for you.
yeah, like in your bag of tricks, right? Like, I mean, it's a thing that helps in a way. Like it draws traffic. Sometimes people just really want an open house. They just want people to see their house. Doesn't necessarily matter who the people are sometimes. And you do get a lot of neighbors, a lot of kind of like looky-loos. We put up feather flags in pretty active areas for all of our open houses. So there's a lot of times people come in and say, oh, I just saw the signs.
Yeah.
So it doesn't,
They don't even know what the price of the home is.
don't know the price,
Anything
don't know
about
anything,
the
like
home in general,
nothing.
right?
So it does bring in a certain type of people. But to be honest, I mean, I have lots of great clients that I have met at open houses.
Agreed, yeah.
Did they buy the house I met them at?
Nope.
Never.
No,
Absolutely never.
Yeah.
But I also see it too. We talked about another one, and another one of these videos was meeting realtors. Like that's a good way for clients or potential clients to meet a realtor, see them in a house.
See them kind of in
ask some
action, like
questions.
where they,
Talk to them in a low pressure kind of.
Low pressure work scenario. You can see if they have the knowledge of the house. You can see if they're, if
You mesh well together.
yeah, exactly how the conversation goes. If you think that they could fit with you, so there are benefits to an open house. But I do think if you're saying an open house is going to sell my house, I think that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
Before we were realtors and we were buying our first home, that was how we found our realtor, from an open house. She just talked like a normal human being, and she was easy to discuss stuff. She was very open and honest about everything, so that's how we found her. Shout out to Other Jen, because that's her name. But also, we went to a few open houses where it was like the realtor was sitting on the couch watching the football game and didn't even acknowledge us. It was bizarre, But I say something similar to my sellers. I say, will your buyer likely come from an open house? Statistically, no. Like it's going to come from a private showing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you want that peace of mind, knowing we've thrown everything in our marketing toolbox at this listing, then by all means do it. Like we're happy to do them.
Yes.
It's just, if I tell you 20 people came through the open house versus you had 10 showings, I'm far more hopeful about those 10 showings versus 20 random people coming through.
I would even say like one showing versus 20 people in the open house. Like it's more confident to
Because
that
you know
person that booked
they know
a
all
showing
the
is a
specs.
serious buyer.
Well, if they're coming through as a private tour, like Shayla said, they are typically focused on the specifics of the house. That's why they're there. They're there to see if the house matches in person what it does on the internet. Whereas if it's an open house, it's an open house.
Exactly.
It's sort of like the parade of homes.
Yeah.
People like to go look at brand new construction homes. Doesn't necessarily mean they're shopping for new homes.
No,
They're just,
exactly.
You know, what looks good, right? Like
They have a Saturday afternoon to kill,
Absolutely.
and there's an open house down the street. Why
Yeah.
not step inside, right?
for sure. And that is part of an open house. Come in,
Yeah.
no obligation, check it out,
Exactly.
have a conversation,
And I'm sure like open houses used to be probably far more successful too. Like
Yeah.
before the advent
Internet.
of like the internet or
Yeah.
being able to have more than 20 pictures even like
Yeah,
on Matrix,
sure.
right? When you didn't necessarily know what it looked like on the inside and the pictures were dark and grainy and you were like, what
Yeah.
am I even looking at here? Like it wasn't that long ago like that we went from 8 pictures to 20 pictures to now 50 pictures on
And
Matrix.
video.
And
video,
video and
and-
everything.
and 3D
So,
tours.
yeah.
And,
Yeah. So now I find the serious buyers are already ruling things in or out online. And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
I find that sometimes too, it's a little more common now where a seller doesn't necessarily want an open house because they don't want all
Yeah.
their like neighbors coming through and all that,
Yep.
which is totally understandable. For the reasons we kind of talked about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. And I find too, like I've experienced this on listing side, like if we go and we start advertising an open house, all of a sudden, sometimes their private showing requests drop off.
Yeah.
And then people are
Yeah.
panicking and they're like, what happened? Where did everybody go? And it's like, well, my guess is
They're
they told their
waiting to
realtor,
see.
don't worry about this one, we'll go
We'll
see
go
it
to
on
the
the
open
weekend.
house,
But
yeah.
they were gonna come see it anyways.
Yeah.
We've just seen a decline in our traffic
Yeah.
as a result, so yeah. And then if they're serious, they always come back with their realtor.
Yeah.
Yeah.